Good morning. Happy Sunday. We have had a glorious week of summer weather. I hope you've been finding some great things to do. Maybe swimming, playing outside. Maybe you like to sit by the air conditioner and read a book. Whatever you do, I hope that you are kicking off your summer with lots of fun. All right, today I have a question for you. I have a snack, and on this plate, I've got some celery, some carrot sticks, and on this plate, I've got some Doritos and a Hershey bar. So my question for you is, after you've been having a busy summer day, which snack would you want? I know which one I probably would choose. So you may have picked the Hershey bar and the chips, but before you tell me which one you would pick, you probably know, because we talk about healthy choices all the time, which one you should pick, but I'm talking about which one you want to pick. So before you tell me which one you would pick, or before you decide that, let's talk about somebody in the Bible first. Let's talk about Daniel today. I'm going to be talking about a story that takes place in Daniel chapter 1. And after today's lesson, if you have never read Daniel chapter 1, you should go and do that, because the story is pretty amazing and it really spoke to me this week. That's one of the perks of doing children's church, is the Lord uses it to kind of tell me what I should be doing too. So today we're going to talk about Daniel. Daniel was an Israelite, and he was just a boy when King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon conquered the Israelites. So he took over the Israelites. And after conquering Israel, Nebuchadnezzar took hundreds of young boys like Daniel captive. He took them and he brought them to his palace. But they weren't prisoners. They weren't treated badly, actually. They were boys who were kind of enrolled in Nebuchadnezzar's special school, like a special program, and they learned the law of Babylon. And if they did really well in this school and they learned really well, they would have a chance to serve the king in his palace. So it was kind of like an opportunity. Well, living in the palace meant that these boys that were in this school or in this program got to eat like royalty. They got the best tasting, fattest, sweetest, tastiest foods imaginable. Now, that sounds like a pretty good perk. That's not like the school lunch at school, right? That's the best food. And they got to have it every single day. Now, most of the boys, they ate it right up, just like I probably would if someone put on a glorious feast in front of me. But one day, the king's servants received a request from Daniel. Daniel and his group of friends asked if they could eat only vegetables and drink water. The king's servants, they were kind of upset by this. They were like, why would you want to give up this good thing that you have? Because they were really responsible for keeping these boys healthy. And so they didn't want to starve them or make them sick. So they wanted to make sure that they were really well fed. And they were in charge of that. And they would get in trouble if the boys weren't doing well. So they kind of felt like they were failing at their duties if these boys didn't eat the diet that the king gave them. So the king was told about this, and he was really surprised for this request for just vegetables. And it was a pretty bold challenge for Daniel to do that, because he was kind of challenging the king's rules a little bit. But also, he was just asking for plain old water and vegetables, and it didn't really make sense to the king. He didn't understand why he would want to do that. Well, Daniel convinced the servants to test them on this vegetable diet. And if they weren't as healthy as the other students in a few weeks, they would give up all the vegetables and they would eat the king's food. So they started this test. And can you guess what happens? Daniel and his friends actually ended up healthier than all of the other boys. They were so healthy that the king took note and actually changed the rest of the students' diets to a vegetable diet. So, what can we learn from Daniel and his friends? Well, obviously, even the Bible tells us to eat our vegetables. So, that would be a really good pick. Oh boy, your parents are going to use that next time you're at the table. But also, there's another lesson to be learned from this story. And that lesson is about self-discipline. And this is where I told you this message really spoke to me, because it's one of the things that I struggle with personally all my life. So the boys could have given in and they could have gone along with the crowd and they could have ate a regular diet of everything that was provided to them, all that rich stuff. But they decided they wanted to stick with the healthier diet that they had always eaten before. And so I'm sure when these two things were placed in front of them, it took a great deal of self-discipline to choose the vegetables when you've got yummy choices. So self-discipline is refusing to give in to the pressure around you. It's kind of taking the harder road, and then you get a reward in the end. So all four of these boys had great self-discipline to give up something delicious and wonderful for vegetables. But in the end, they were healthier and stronger. So self-discipline isn't easy. It comes to choosing God's way or the world's way. And it's really the only way we should go as Christians, is choosing God's way. It will keep us healthy. It'll keep us wiser. It'll keep us stronger. And it'll help us be better able to be used by the Lord. So there are lots of things that we need self-discipline in. Two that I have always struggled with all my life that the Lord really spoke to me about again during this, which I'd actually already started doing during this pandemic. But two of them are being healthier. I've been trying to work out every day, and I've been doing pretty good. I've gone 14 days now without skipping a day. And also reading my Bible daily. That's one that I'm really good for a week or two. I've even been really good for a couple years at being really into my Bible. And then things happen and you get busy and you don't get into the Word as much. And so that's one area that I also need a lot of self-discipline in. So here's my challenge to every child and adult who may be watching today. Let's all pick something for this summer to put our efforts into and our self-discipline into to really work toward building a new habit. Building a habit takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of work. But what will your new habit or self-discipline be? I'm going to stick with my two that I've been doing for a couple of weeks. I'm going to continue trying to get into the Word every single day. And I'm going to continue exercising, taking a walk, doing some exercise every single day. So if you're brave enough, tell me down in the comments on Facebook what your goal is for the next couple of months. And maybe you will have a new habit that will help keep you healthier, wiser, stronger, and better able to serve the Lord. And we will all be a great light to the world around us. Have a wonderful week. I will be back again next week. Eat your vegetables.